You allege too that Nicole Murphy had relations with your ex-husband. Were you two friends?
Mm-hmm. Birthday parties. I've been to her house. She was at my bachelorette party. But you know what? At that time, my mother told me then. She said, but you got to watch that one then. And I was like, who? I said, the one dancing. She said, yes, that's Eddie Murphy's wife. She said, you got to watch that one.
Current wife at the time or ex at the time?
I want to say, I think she was still married. They were still married. And I was like, no, And so, when your mom tell you something about new school, you feel like you old school, And she was right.
The situation involving Nicole Murphy and LisaRaye McCoy has been surrounded by years of public accusations, interviews, and media narratives. But it's important to separate documented statements from rumor because while LisaRaye has openly spoken in the past about her marriage to former Turks and Caicos premier Michael Misick ending amid allegations of infidelity involving Nicole, many of the more extreme claims, such as patterns of targeting wealthy men or additional affairs involving figures like Gary Payton, have largely circulated through gossip rather than consistently verified reporting. Both women have, at different times, been portrayed negatively in the media, but public feuds like this are often amplified by speculation and one-sided accounts, so while there may be real tension and past grievances, it's difficult to present any one narrative as completely factual without clear, corroborated evidence, and it's more accurate to view this as a long-running celebrity dispute, shaped heavily by media interpretation rather than fully confirmed details.
Nicole Murphy, you're disgusting. You sat on that couch and you laughed. It ain't no moment, it's a mess. You wrong for that. You the type of women that let these men be evil. They gotta have some help, and women like you are that type of help.
The long-running tension between LisaRaye McCoy and Nicole Murphy has resurfaced multiple times over the years, especially whenever new controversies emerge, such as the widely reported incident involving Antoine Fuqua, who was married to LisaRaye, where Nicole publicly apologized and described the situation as a mistake, but LisaRaye remained openly skeptical, pointing to past allegations and expressing that she didn't believe it was an isolated incident. Her reaction reflects deeper, unresolved feelings dating back to her own marriage issues involving Michael Misick, where she previously implied Nicole played a role, which is why even after many years, the distrust and criticism haven't fully faded, though much of the narrative still sits in a mix of personal claims, public statements, and media amplification rather than fully verified, one-sided facts.
That's true, absolutely true.
So what happened exactly?
Just what you said. She messed around with my husband. Here's the thing. We've all done something that we regret. We've all made mistakes, and we all have to learn from that. But when you start doing it and being messy enough to do it amongst family, how does a family kiss turn into a I'm sorry apology? Like, what do you mean? You didn't know that she was married? We all know that she was married. And that was 20 years. That's history. You don't do that amongst friends.
Right.
Because there's no loyalty.
Right.
There's no loyalty, and you got to look up, and your person that you invited to your house and you celebrating your birthdays and going to games with, you got to look up and they're in Italy with your husband.
Right.
The way LisaRaye McCoy has described the situation with Nicole Murphy definitely adds a more personal and emotional layer to the feud, especially since she has claimed they moved in the same social circles and even had enough of a connection for Nicole to be invited to her wedding with Michael Misick, but the idea that Nicole was deliberately planning to interfere in her marriage is based on LisaRaye's perspective and accusations, rather than something that has been independently verified as fact. Over the years, LisaRaye has been very vocal about feeling betrayed and has consistently pointed to Nicole as a factor in her marriage ending, which explains why she remains critical even in later controversies. But as with many long-running celebrity disputes, the full truth likely involves multiple sides, personal emotions, and media amplification, making it difficult to present any single version of events as completely definitive without clear, corroborated evidence.
My thing is this. When you're a woman and you're grown, let's handle it like a woman. Let's talk face to face and let's get it out. But here's the thing. I sat with her a couple of months ago, longer than a couple of months ago, about 6 months ago. And
this was after the alleged affair?
Before.
Okay.
And I said, let's talk about it because I waited a very long time for you and I to get like this right here, face to face.
Okay.
And
no, she's talking about Nicole, not me.
Right.
Relax.
And we had a good conversation because she said to me, you know what? We're two older women that look good that's in the business. I hate this. And I do too, because I hate when we can't bridge the gap between women. We should not be in that position.
Right.
I will say this.
There are a lot of serious claims mixed together in this narrative about Nicole Murphy and LisaRaye McCoy, but most of what you're describing here sits in the realm of long-standing gossip, disputed personal accounts, and internet amplification rather than consistently verified, evidence-backed reporting. While LisaRaye has publicly spoken about past relationships and has at times made strong allegations in interviews, and Nicole has been involved in publicly reported controversies such as the situation with Antoine Fuqua and LisaRaye, many of the additional names, alleged affairs, financial claims, and dramatic incidents circulating in this version of events are not reliably substantiated across credible sources and often come from secondary retellings or online commentary, so it's important to separate confirmed public statements from rumor-driven extensions of the story. In situations like this, where reputations are heavily shaped by media narratives and fan discourse, the most accurate way to view it is as an ongoing celebrity feud shaped by personal grievances and public perception, rather than a fully verifiable chain of events involving all the claims being repeated.
I don't want to stress you out by trying to keep up with my lifestyle that I already have and am accustomed to. Why? Because if I'm going to these restaurants just for lunch meetings, and it takes you your whole check to take me there, I don't want to stress you out. You cannot hang with me.
Claims like these about LisaRaye McCoy and Nicole Murphy blend real public controversies with a lot of speculation, exaggeration, and unverified personal accusations, so it's important to treat them carefully rather than as established fact. While LisaRaye has been vocal over the years about her relationships and has criticized certain behaviors in her social circle, and Nicole has also faced public scrutiny for specific reported incidents, such as the widely discussed situation involving Antoine Fuqua and LisaRaye, many of the additional claims being repeated here, about lifestyle motives, financial intentions, or broad patterns of behavior involving other celebrities, are not consistently supported by credible evidence and often come from entertainment commentary or online gossip cycles. Because of that, it's more accurate to view this as a highly dramatized public feud shaped by media narratives and personal opinions rather than a fully verifiable account of events, and whether LisaRaye is against the player but not the game is ultimately a matter of interpretation rather than something that can be confirmed as fact.